Hey guys, welcome back to Adlib Talk, and this is my review for The Power of the Dog. Jane Campion's movie will definitely be an awards contender for this year. But did I personally enjoy it? Let's find out. Before we start with this review, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and please do consider subscribing, as those are the two main ways you can help support my channel right here at Adlib Talk. Cheers, and let's get right into that review. So as you may have noticed, Westerns have seen quite a resurgence in recent years. One of my latest reviews was also about a Western. This one is very different, however, and really stands out from the rest of the pack. The movie is based on Thomas Savage's 1967 novel of the same name. The Power of the Dog is set in 1925 Montana, where Phil and George Burbank, who are two rich ranch owners, are on a cattle drive. On their way, they stop at an inn where they meet Rose Gordon, a widow. This is where instantly we start to see the contrast between the two brothers. George, acted by Jesse Plemons, falls in love with Rose, acted by Kirsten Dunst, and offers the widow some comfort. On the other hand, Phil, acted by a brilliant Benedict Cumberbatch, spends his time in the inn making fun of Rose's son Peter, who seems to be quite effeminate and suffers from a lisp. George and Rose end up marrying to Phil's displeasure, and with George's money, Rose sends Peter to college. Rose herself moves in with the brothers, where Phil continues to show his dislike towards Rose, constantly claiming that she was simply using George for his money. Slowly, however, we start to see that there is more than meets the eye with many of these characters. Rose herself is not in a great place. She starts to suffer from alcoholism, which she tries to hide from her family. Phil also has a deep secret hidden. And all of this leads us to one of the most shocking endings I have watched recently. One I will obviously not spoil, but will simply say that you have to experience. Okay, so let me be clear. I absolutely loved this movie. One of the best aspects of it were the performances. Cumberbatch gives us an incredible lead performance. His character is one of the deepest and most nuanced main characters I have seen in a very long time, and Cumberbatch takes full advantage of this. At the start, seeing Phil show off his homophobia in such an obvious way, almost maybe a little kind of like, oh no, is this going to be another one of those in movies which kind of like overemphasize the white guy is bad? But eventually, with some time, I start to see that Phil's sentiments come because he himself is hiding something. His relationship with previous mentor Bronco Henry is mentioned quite a lot as well, and is very relevant through this. Jesse Plemons is decent enough in his role, which, to be fair, did not ask for much. It is also weird how midway through the movie, the plot seems to almost completely leave him out of the story, focusing completely instead on the psychological battle going on between Phil, Rose, and Peter. Phil's psychological torture of Rose was horrifying to watch, yet it made for some pretty intense scenes. One such scene is when Rose, for example, was attempting to play the piano with Phil distracting her. It was also interesting to note how little chemistry there was between Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst. But I guess this was also kind of on purpose, since that is one of the main points of the story itself. Kirsten Dunst herself is not bad, and she offers quite a heartfelt performance here, but my other standout performance in this movie was by Cody Smith-McPhee. He offers us an incredibly intense performance. His mannerisms feel very authentic, and the moments when he squares off with Phil are definitely some of the more memorable moments of this movie. Visually, this is a beautiful movie. The backdrop of the Wild West is a joy to behold, and there are some great shots here. However, Ari Wegner's close-ups during the movie's more character-driven moments are also very well shot. It is definitely very slow paced, and I did feel that it was sometimes a tad too slow, with certain scenes being far too overlong. The movie is also quite long, and shortening the running time would have made for a tighter storytelling experience overall. However, the kind of emotions developed by this movie was not something I expected, as I came into it with zero knowledge of the book. It is a slow burner, definitely. However, the kind of tension that Jane Campion manages to develop in this movie's climactic moment is quite impressive. One of the major themes tackled in this movie is sadness and solitude. We see this from the start, with George making it clear that he kind of needed a wife, and eventually seeing Phil's jealousy develop as he starts to feel kind of alone without his brother. The movie also tackles the concepts of masculinity, femininity, and sexuality in a very effective manner, something I personally did not expect from a Western. Jane Campion has created a great movie here. One that is definitely not an easy watch, but if you put in the effort, it is definitely well worth your time, especially due to its great climactic scene. Benedict Cumberbatch will receive all the plaudits here, and rightfully so, probably even an Oscar nomination. But I must say that I hope Cody Smith-McPhee receives some attention for his great interpretation of Peter. It is visually beautiful, has a great soundtrack, and it is an overall great watch. I give The Power of the Dog a 4 out of 5, and am very much looking forward to Jane Campion's future projects. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review. And if you did, as always, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and please do consider subscribing. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Adlib Talk.